Thank you very much. Just to correct you immediately that Somnath, there is a board, and I think Mr. L.K. Advani was part of that board, and right now the Prime Minister is part of that board. So there is a government intervention even in the Somnath temple. I think 250 odd temples in Gujarat are under state control like that. So most of the Hindu, I think I quoted the figure of 110,000 temples. There possibly even more. But to come back to answer your second question first, two things can happen side by side. The government has to show resolve. Let the government say that, take a famous temple and say, we are going to relinquish control over it. Let's say Tirupati. If the government says it, side by side, you can have suggestions from people who you think are best able to manage that, or other parties or any other party, to what will happen to the temple once the government relinquishes its control. So it's not something that once the control is relinquished, only then we will think about things. Things can happen in parallel. I mean, think of it, and I know people, I don't want people to mind this, as I repeat that I'm not for one. I would never imagine a temple as a company, because a company is like Heartless Temple, has a soul in it, of what I, metaphorically speaking. So temple is not a company, but if a private company has suddenly been taken control of by the government, and the government then relinquishes the control, that step per se is good. Let the people who were in charge of that company think of what will happen to that company later on. First, you do that act one, then let us do other things in parallel. So I think the government should show resolve, and on paper, or declare it and say it, that we have on this day of this month of this year relinquished control over, let us say, Tirupati. But till such time, government can set a time, let's say 6 months or 7 months, till such time a new ownership comes in or people is finally decided, we will take control of the matters or something like that, so it can certainly do it. But the first resolve has to be showed by the government. As to your first question, I certainly want JSI to become, to enter into politics. I certainly want a lot of people who are, who India needs to enter politics, who are not in politics. Not me, absolutely not. I won't last a day. I want people like Sai and his wealth of knowledge, Vikram, so many others. This country needs them. But does the polity, will the polity tolerate them is another question. Sai is a thorough professional. He is earning what is due to him, rightfully so, and long may he prosper through his vocation, in which he is brilliant. So for him to enter politics, he would have to, I don't know, part relinquish that, a legal profession if he wants to, or I don't know how it goes. I don't know how other lawyers do. I don't want him to go on the path of Kapil Sibal, certainly. But there are other conscientious lawyers, moral and ethical lawyers that JSI can follow. But certainly he must, I implore him to enter politics.